Next up, we have Castlevania Tears of the Damned featuring James R. Basterd by Solkrieg. This one will be featured in Geometry Dash, or I think it already is. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here, musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, members get early access to the content. And artists, I want to collab. Solkrieg, let's do another one. I have a whole spiel for this at the end of the video, so stick around for that. Disclaimers showing on your screen right now. This is, number one is, yeah, this is not my first time listening to this one, so I do have a bit more insight on this one. But other than that, let's go ahead and get started. Yes, I am on this one. I did the guitars and the Mongolian throat singing for it. So, with that being said, let's do this. Tears of the Damned. Let's go. Okay, of course, we start with the bells and a drone in the bass. So, oh, this is from the previous video. So a drone in music is more than one pedal note. Like a drone is just a low chord that is being held very, very down low. And yes, I stopped it right on time. And Torts, welcome today. How you doing? Let's see where it goes. We now bring a guitar in, one of my guitars. And we bring in the motif. Once again, motif being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else comes from. Now, we have this motif in a pipe organ. Once again, the pipe organ for instrumentation and orchestration. So, instrumentation / orchestration being picking the right instrument, not just for the right sound or for the right texture, but also maybe for the right psychological response. And a pipe organ is always going to have that greater than any individual, like a larger than life kind of thing. So many people don't know bells actually are not atonal. I think I'm using it correctly. It's not just volley. Oh, so the bells are actually in tune. Yes. So I'm gonna get to that in a second. So yes, the organ, of course, as opposed to a piano, because a piano, upright piano, you can fit a piano in most apartments out there, in most rooms out there. You can probably fit a piano. An organ, however, let me bring you a picture, right? So pipe organ. Yeah, these are absolute massive pieces of engineering art, and they are, of course, you usually very often will need to design entire buildings around these. So building one of these, let alone maintaining, these are extremely expensive, and it requires a lot of time and effort to have these. So it is, of course, that becomes ingrained in a lot of people's cultures, where you see an organ and you're imagining it being in a cathedral or a symphony hall or something like that. It has to be up there, which, you know, having the melody playing in a pipe organ has that. Now, Solkrieg is in the chat over here and said that the bells are tonal. So, most percussion that exists out there is in what we call non-functional harmony. So non-functional means that it does not have a function in the harmony. When you have music, you have three components: melody, melody, harmony, and rhythm. Melody, of course, being the individual horizontal lines, for example, the motif we just heard. Harmony being more meta. It's by far the most complicated aspect of music. What notes you're using, what scales you can get out of those notes, what chords you can get out of those scales, what scales you can get out of your chords, the relationship between them, the relationship between your sets, so on and so forth. You can keep just adding layers of extrapolation to this. And then you have rhythm, which is your use of time. How fast, how slow things happen, when they happen, your metronome, that kind of thing. So, when it comes to non-functional harmony, usually this is something you're going to have in the rhythm. For example, a drum kit is usually going to be non-functional harmonically. Even though the individual drums have a pitch, this pitch is not going to be considered for the sake of the harmony. Because, you know, a harmony is going to be, oh yeah, we are in C major, right? And if we have the drums that, oh yeah, the kick drum just happens to be in C sharp, right? So we're having this hitting on the drum. Of course, that would be horrible for the harmony, but because of the way the drums are designed, it doesn't matter. And it doesn't affect this. And Synchronizer, this is offline cue, yes. Creator's privilege. So yes, we have that, and then we'd have non-functional. However, the bells over here are functional. So these ones are in functional harmony, which means the bells are playing in tune with the rest of the chords being played. Let's see where this goes. And by the way, this one over here, the motif being played, is not just any motif, it is a leitmotif. Leitmotif being a version of the motif, of a motif that is used to recall a different work. Because I believe this is the one, that motif over there, the minor motif. I think it's in B minor. And it is, the purpose of a leitmotif is to recall a different piece of music. In which case, I think this one is Castlevania. I'm not sure if it's this one or the next one. So, is there a difference between a leitmotif and a motif? Yes. A leitmotif is a motif that is used to recall a different work, while a motif is just the smallest version of a musical idea in the specific piece. So, for example, this over here is a motif. That is a motif, and it's a motif for a single piece of music, which is Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. However, there are other motifs out there, for example, this one, that it is made to recall. It's in a different piece that is not Beethoven, that is not the original one. So if you were to hear in a piece that is not Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, there it becomes a leitmotif because it is made for the purposes of referencing another piece of music. It's a reference, basically. A leitmotif is a reference to another piece. In this case, this motif is a reference to Castlevania. So, let's see, how many perhaps? I think at least two is the guy. I think at least two. Anyway, let's see where it goes. So we have this. We're bringing in the drums. And we bring in, of course, the motif of this specific piece of music. So in this one, we have two motifs. One of them is the leitmotif, and the other one is the motif of this piece. This one, of course, we have the chimes, we have some strings, and of course, we have the guitars done by me. And in this case, we are just going through with the motif. Absolutely brilliant motif, and I think this is another motif from Castlevania. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe Solkrieg can answer that. So, this one's just patting yourself on the back? Yes. And Solkrieg. Because I only did the guitars and the throat singing, so Solkrieg did everything else. So, yeah, like, I take credit for, like, the solos. That much I'll take credit for. The composition, everything else was done by Solkrieg. So, yes. Anyway, so, yeah, we're reading this. We repeat. And we have now a second line. You can hear that second Chinese synth higher up giving us a little bit of counterpoint. Counterpoint being, of course, the study of melodies, how they interact with, how they develop, how they interact with one another, usually in the context of two or more melodies at the same time. Ask me technical academic questions about the music. I'm totally aware and uneducated. If it sounds good to me, then yes. Yes, so the first melody, that is from Castlevania, right? Like that's a callback to Castlevania. Like that melody is from Castlevania, I think, right? That's Bloody Tears. Okay, so yes, that melody, the first one is the leitmotif of Bloody Tears. There you go. Compose something until it sounds good. That is most of the history of composition. Like, there's only been a handful of composers in the history of the world that were able to just bring something forward just from their head and everything. One of them, Mozart, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. One of them, Johann Sebastian Bach. One of them being Mendelssohn. Like, those three, they basically had everything already in their head, and they just needed to write it down, as if taking dictation kind of thing. After that, everybody else is going to just spend time, like back in the day, just in the piano, going note at a time, being like, okay, what's a melody I can come up with? Like, what? And Beethoven, like, that was kind of like what Beethoven would have. Like, Beethoven's motifs were so unbelievably simple. Wait, we have this one, of course. We have, but the actual motif. That is the motif of the first movement of the Moonlight Sonata. That's the first motif, you know? Fucking. Am I playing it right? There we go. So yeah, so that's very, very simple motifs, and then you build around it, and then you have, of course, Mozart with some of the most insane motifs you would hear out there. That absolutely, like, this, one of the simplest motifs that Mozart had was, what? No. Something like that, right? So, yes, and when it came to Mozart, he would just absolutely write down everything in one go. And to the limit, welcome to the day, I see that. Oh, auto mod. So yeah, no, we have a lot of things. Do you know music theory? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I graduated with a degree in music composition. Like, I wrote an opera to graduate college, so yes. So if you actually have a complete 2-3 instrument melody in my head before writing it down, then I might actually be gifted. The difficult thing is not that you have a melody in your head. The difficult thing is writing it down. It's figuring out how to make it work. Going from your head the idealistic way to actually putting it down. That's the difficult part. D-Hops, welcome today, man. How you doing? So yes, we're having this going on. We're having the motif, and now we're having this motif playing with counterpoint from the other one. So counterpoint, of course, is usually measured in motion. We have three main kinds of motion. We have parallel, we have contrary, and we have similar. Now, parallel motion, and these are all in the context of two melodies playing at the same time. So parallel motion is when you have two melodies playing the exact same shape, just from different points. Of course, we can have that in our C major motif, and then if we play the same shape, just starting from a different point, in this case, major third up, you get this. This is parallel motion. Contrary motion just means that they are going the opposite direction. If one goes down, the other one goes up. If the other one goes up, the other one goes down. So we could have something like this. So, Gustavo, welcome today. How you doing? Yes, this is a collab that we did with Solkrieg a while back. Solkrieg asked us to do this. And now, similar motion is what is happening in this piece right now. We are having melodies that are completely separate from one another, completely different rhythms, completely different melodies are together, but that they are all more or less going the same way. That is similar motion. So let's see. It's funny because I try and piece without putting it once. I mean, one of the methods that we used back in Berkeley would be to grab physical paper, go sit on a piano, and actually write down the notes. Like, physically, like, do it the old school way. That used to be a thing. So, yeah. Anyway, let's continue. Let's see where it goes. Alright, there we go. So now, of course, we have the leitmotif being played on one layer of the guitars, while on the other side, we have two more guitars playing a counterpoint to this melody. We're having a break. We're having the leitmotif playing right after our motif, and of course the counterpoint was something that I picked up on the spot. Like, we recorded the guitars for this live on stream. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, we're having these other melodies playing in similar motion while the leitmotif is playing on the guitars, playing in octaves. Octaves, of course, octaves is parallel motion. You're just playing the same note in different octaves. Because, by the way, this is, for example, C, and every C after that is in a different octave. So C, 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 and if we were to play both together, you could have something like this, right? Where you're just playing parallel octaves. So I'm having parallel octaves playing the main motif, while I'm having another set of guitars in the middle playing a little bit of similar motion in between. So let's see. Lovely opposite, lovely. Let's see where it goes. And of course, we're having the drums going absolutely insane. Back we go to the first motif. So now we also have parallel motion in the guitars. We're having, and by the way, an informal way of calling parallel motion is harmonization. Harmonization or a harmonized melody. So we are having this playing at the same time with the parallel motion. In this case, we're just replaying almost one-to-one. The main difference here is the drums. So the main thing here is the drums. The drums are what are giving us a little bit more variety over here, while the rest is playing almost one-to-one the same thing that happens. How do people crack apps either way? I have no clue. I have no clue how that works. So there you go. Where's the copyright for Tears of Down? Asking because it looks in your game. Well, there you go. Solkrieg is the one who made it. Solkrieg is the one who owns the copyright. So yeah, there we go. That's where it goes. So over here, we switch over to a short instrumental break. You know, we're having the drums engaging in what is called accents. Accents in music, of course, being for accentuation. Accentuation being when you highlight specific points in the rhythm. You can hear the bass drum still going toko 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 toko, while the snare and the crash and the cymbal are going at the same time as the chords that are being played over here. Of course, now I know what is about to happen. We're about to enter guitar solo number 1. So when it comes to music, I'm getting the link that apparently the track hit Newgrounds front page October 2nd, one day after the upload. Nice. Nice. Hell yeah, I did not. I have never seen Newgrounds. Like, I know of Newgrounds. I never in my life have opened the website. And at this point, I'm too scared to open it. Oh, boy. So, yes, we're about to have the first guitar solo, right? So, when it comes to music, you want to keep a very careful balance between what is familiar and what is new. Too much familiarity, too much repetition, too much of the same thing. You risk boring the listener, they tune out. Too much new material too quickly, you risk overwhelming the listener, they tune out. There is one big exception, however, which is universal, and it is solos. Any kind of solo that you bring in, you can bring as much new material as you want, and as long as it sounds cool enough and it sounds like it belongs enough, you can get away with it. So, let's see what I did. So we have a little intro there, and So first part of the solo over there, of course, my logic is that I love playing seconds. So when it comes to a scale, right? Scales are usually made out of 7 notes. We take notes from the chromatic scale, you follow a formula, and you get 7 notes out of it. So let's bring the scale of A minor as an example, right? So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then A being the octave, and it just repeats, right? So in this case, in the piano, it's going to sound... unless you want to add the harmonic minor, in which case you just raise the last note. So something I love doing when it comes to my solos, and most of my music in general, is playing what is called either a second or a ninth. The ninth being, of course, when you have the chord playing over here, and then you just add a second note over here. I love that sound. Especially if you're bringing it from part of a melody, right? So you know, I just love those seconds, which is what I did there. After that, I engaged in what are called runs. I just went really, really far, really fast up and down the scales. And let's see. This is where it diverts. Yeah, this is where we divert. We are grabbing completely new melodies. We are getting solos, and it is... yeah, this is completely improvised. This was completely improvised from my end when I recorded it. I deviate. I am of the idea. I am of the philosophy of the school of thought that your solo should not have, like, if you can get away with introducing new material in the solos, then you should absolutely introduce completely new material in the solos. Don't bother playing the same melody that you've been playing throughout the entire song in your solos. Don't bother with that, because you're already playing it throughout the entirety of the rest of the song. So yes, you can have a brief moment of recalling that melody, but then bring something else that is new, bring something fresh, keep that spice up. So that is what I'm doing over here. We have over here... Okay, we have there a quick moment of an arpeggio, by the way. Arpeggio being when you play a chord one note at a time. So here we have, for example, the chord of A minor. And then play it one note at a time, an arpeggio. So yeah, we're having that happening really quickly, and it was a harmonized arpeggio, which means I was just doing an arpeggio from 2 notes at the same time, right? Look. Sorry. That kind of thing. So, let's see where it goes. Those 9s, runs. We bring back that same break from before, but now we have a melody higher up, giving us a little bit of counterpoint. We bring the guitar back out. We bring back... So, off the ramp we go. Off the ramp being, of course, a colloquial term that I use. Colloquial, by that I mean there's no official academic definition for this, or at least I'm choosing not to use it for the sake of simplicity. And off the ramp is what I call a transition, a specific type of transition. It can be as short as a couple of beats, it can be as long as an entire section, as it is in this one. And the purpose of it is to make your listener feel suspended up in the air at the mercy of inertia, waiting to see where you land. How do you do that? Remove the drums. Maybe the bass as well, which is what happens over here. We bring back the original motif. Over here, and of course we change the instrumentation. Now we have it on, like, the piano. It sounds like it's a steel drum, the other one. Maybe it sounds like a little bit more minuscule. We of course have the voice sample of the whisper happening over there, and we are having a drone with my Mongolian throat singing. Let's see where it goes. There we go, the guitar. It's finally done. We make a pretty brief moment, and there we go. So now we bring in the motif done in the guitars, of course with the parallel motion, those harmonized melodies, while we are having a cello at the same time, giving us some arpeggios with that counterpoint that is happening. Of course, we bring in the drums, and a very nice detail over here was Solkrieg engaging in rhythmic displacement. Rhythmic displacement is when you displace the rhythm. The drum fill that you heard over there, he ended up using the sound of me breathing in to push the starting of the next beat just by that much. And that brief moment of silence just, yeah. And VIP, welcome today. How you doing? So yeah, let's see. Yeah, how you doing? Right. So yeah, let's hear it again, right? So you're oh wait. So it displaces and gives you a bit of extra momentum. There we go. We play the same melody now with the cello giving us those arpeggios. Now, so over here, I divert from the original melody, give us a slight variation of the melody, still using a similar type of melody that I usually use in my solos to add a little bit of extra variation, while the rest of it is still doing the same. It's kind of like a tail end to move the rest of the motif, to bring us back to the rest of the motif. And by the way, the motif is being played now in what is called legato. The original one is played mostly in staccato. Staccato is short notes that are played in quick bursts, right? So, you know, very, very short, usually very, very stingy like that. And legato, of course, you let the notes ring out as much as possible. So, let's see over here. Yes, rhythmic displacement is displacing the rhythm, pushing the rhythm back or forward a little bit. And in this case, it was to push it down a little bit. And yes, sometimes it is that simple. Sometimes these concepts are that simple. Let's see where it goes. So now we have another melody in the organ in between as well. We bring back the leitmotif. Off the ramp we go, and now we switch the cello to have the melody while we're off the ramp, and we have, of course, the drone given to us by the Mongolian throat singing. Yeah, there's no effects on the vocals over there. That's just what Mongolian throat singing is. You know, it's the art of singing two or more notes at the same time. So there's, I think the only thing that Solkrieg did over here was a little bit of compression. So, yeah, let's see where this goes. Alright, classic, sounds good. There we go, we bring another version of the motif, played in octaves, while we are having those accents from the chords being played over here. Let's see where it goes. What's the max note someone has been able to sing at once? I think there's one person, I forget his name. I think he managed to do something like 10 or 12. Like, it gets pretty crazy with overtones and undertones, the way that these kinds of throat singing can go. It's pretty crazy. There's one guy out there who's an insane range, and he was able to do a bunch of notes. I forget his name, but really, really cool. So yeah, now we're bringing, of course, we bring this back to full speed. And by the way, something that is happening over here with the melody is that the staccato in the melody is done primarily with bouncing back and forth. We are playing basically a pedal at the bottom, and we are having the melody playing higher, but instead of playing the melody like this, we are playing one of the notes, which is then played by the other one, probably a couple of octaves lower, an octave lower, I think, which gives it that much more dynamics, even though you're just repeating one note in between. Putting notes in between your notes can sometimes be very useful, especially you end up using like pedal notes like that. Let's see where it goes. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna do the second solo. So we're repeating the leitmotif with the drums going very nice. Like, the drums are so good. So now we add a harmonization to the leitmotif, and we bring in, of course, the guitar solo once again. Now with me deciding to go completely all out, and yeah, wanting to make the second solo a lot more climactic, a lot faster, engaging, of course, in more runs as we start the solo. So let's go back a couple of seconds. You can hear it. Just going really fast. Arpeggios and then more runs. And over there in the solo, I have engaged in a little bit of chromaticism. Chromaticism is when you borrow notes from the chromatic scale, notes that do not belong to your existing scale in your current scale. So if we bring back to the example of A minor, right? That means we're playing only the white keys. I mean, we could play this, the raised 7th over here to have the harmonic minor, but then we have, of course, chromaticism. Imagine analyzing your own work. Yes, this is actually a very good exercise. Being able to explain what you did, why you did it, and how you did it is a very, very good thing. It's a very good skill that you can develop. So yes, if chromaticism means that you're borrowing from the chromatic scale, in this case, any of the black keys in between the other ones. So we can bring something like this. We're just adding the chromatic, doing this. You don't have to imagine. Yes, there you go. Milo, welcome today. How you doing? So yes, now we're having this, and now the guitar solo is coming to an end, in which I'm trying to bring it to a climactic end with the high note. So now we are in outro territory. Of course, the track is about to end, and we bring in this quasi-solo, quasi-melody, guitar going in, giving us callbacks to the motif that we've been doing, this kind of thing. A true YouTuber always glazes its own work. I mean, this is mostly Solkrieg. This is mostly Solkrieg. Like, yes, I am confident in my abilities as a musician. I didn't spend the last 16 years honing my skills as a musician to not have confidence in them. I'm not the best out there, absolutely not. But I know for a fact that I do have the skill set. I know the skills I have. I know in which place I am in the food chain, which means I do have confidence in my own skills. Simple as. I think glazing is a very dishonest term that is using mostly when you are unjustifiably complimenting something. I'm not complimenting anything over here. If you have noticed in the language I've used so far, I've been mainly talking about what's happening musically. Usually I talk about whether or not I enjoy it. I mean, of course I enjoyed making this. I enjoyed listening to this all the fucking time. So that's a given. That's a given. But yeah, he's the best? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nowhere near. Like, I would put I am a professional. Like, I'm professionally trained, I am a professional. Like, if you hire me or if you have me do anything for your music, I will be a professional about it, and I know how to behave professionally. But, yeah, no. Glazing is usually, when it's done dishonestly, and I'm many things. Dishonest ain't one of them. Let's see where this goes. So we're now having the final rhythm, some counterpoint, playing with the organs. Does that line tell? Oh, I don't know, I don't think so. So now off the ramp for the ending, now we have both motifs playing at the same time. We have the guitar giving us the main motif of this track's motif, while the organ is giving us the leitmotif from before. Now both of them are playing at the same time. We bring back the bells, slowly fading them in, so that we take out the organ, now we take out the guitar, we bring back the chorus, take it out now we are left with the same bells and chorus, and drone as we had at the beginning so that this thing can loop immediately. So yeah, if you click play right away, if you put the song in repeat, it's set to loop. And there you go. There you have it. There you have it. It was a lot of fun to work on this one. It was so much fun. So there you have it. Potato, welcome today. Potato Box, welcome today. How you doing? Jesus, I can't read. So there you go. That was Castlevania Tears of the Damned featuring James R. Basterd. That's me. By Solkrieg, featured in Geometry Dash and Newgrounds and whatever other things we've made it happening. So, yeah, there you go. There you go. I loved working on this one, and I am very much looking forward to the next one that we get to do with Solkrieg, whenever that happens. So, yeah, there you have it. Tears of the Damned from Castlevania by Solkrieg. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here musically. So, if you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, if we somehow hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube before Christmas of 2025, which is not that likely but still possible, I will take a single fan fiction of the choice of the community, and I will fully produce, record, and voice act an audiobook for it. This has to be achieved through legitimate and honest means only. No account duping, no botting, no buying followers, no alt accounts, no rat behaviors like that. We also had a member offer to do a Discord Nitro giveaway. We might do other kinds of giveaways as well. Like, you know, there's so many things that we could do. If you have any ideas or you want to contribute to the hype, just let me know, reach out, and we'll make as much of it happen as possible. As mentioned, this has to be done via legitimate and honest means only. Thank you for the 500 bits. I'll address that in a second. So if you, yes, this has to be done through legitimate and honest means only. Go share the videos with your friends, with your families, with your family's friends, with your friends' families. Those are two distinct concepts, by the way. With your online and offline communities, whatever that may be. Use the hype function on YouTube and that kind of stuff. Artists, well, Solkrieg, that's, I think, at this point, it's kind of goes without saying, but anybody else on YouTube who would like to collaborate with me, let's do it. I can provide any of my musical skills, whether it is the guitars, Mongolian throat singing, regular singing, voice acting, or any other kind of collaboration. Just reach out, let me know, and we'll make as much of it work as possible. And if you're in the audience and you know somebody, just let them know, please. Do not be Please do not harass anyone. Please do not be a rat about things. Be cool. Be cool. So, yes, if members get early access to the content, I schedule the videos for the week on Saturdays, and if you're a paid member on YouTube, regardless of your tier, you get access to the videos when I schedule them, at least for the LFAs. So become a member today. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3.5 seconds, I will be linking it in the description down below. Of course, this one is available on Spotify and YouTube Music at the same time. If you want to request a song and you're not on livestream, check the pinned comment in the description. If you are on the live stream, you can go ahead and start requesting now. And if you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. If you are not in Europe, do not worry. We have the full up-to-date streaming schedule showing in your local time zone in both Discord and Twitch, both linked down below. So if you live in Bethlehem, Judea, and you're like, yeah, but what time is 6 p.m. in Hungary? I don't live there. Do not worry. Full stream, up-to-date, in Discord and Twitch, both linked down below. So just check them out. It has schedule in your local time zone. And follow the gaming channel. I'm on YouTube. Of course, I have a gaming channel. Games are Basterd. That's where I put the gaming after shows when they happen. They get recorded on the main channel, and then the recordings go there. Link down below, or just search on YouTube for the same username as James R. Basterd. Just on the J for a G, and you got it. And yeah, there you go. There you go. Tears of the Damned. I tell you, this was so much fun to work with. Solkrieg, really good stuff, man. Really good stuff. But yeah, let's move on.